Hey everyone, let's take a look at React. Now, I'm going to go through really beginner stuff here. If you're a beginner and want to learn React, this is for you. If you're not a beginner, you're an expert in React, probably know React better than me, then you probably should spend your time doing something else. But feel free to watch. But yeah, this is completely going from beginner level, and what I'm doing is I'm going to walk through the new React docs, which you can find at beta.reactjs.org, and they're really amazing. Now, in here, we've got home, we've got learn. I'm going to go to the learn section, and we've got installation here. You could learn how to install. We're not even going to install React to do anything like that because the docs actually give us these amazing code sandboxes that we can play with. So look at that in your own time if you want. We can install stuff later. But I'm going to go straight to describing the UI, and I'm going to go to your first component. I want to build my first component. So let's do that. So again, you can read this in your own time. I'm going to scroll down through, blah, 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 read it. And I'm going to go down to defining a component. So when you're defining a component in React, basically it's just a function. Here we go. This is our function with a capital letter. So you can see here, I'm calling it profile, and it must have a capital letter. So it is just a function. And just like you would write any JavaScript function, you need to return something, and in here we're returning an image. The image has a source and an alt, and this basically gives us our image. So that's our profile component, right? Cool. Okay, let's continue. So we need to export the component. The export default prefix is standard JavaScript syntax. You can read more about that here. And basically it lets us export it into another file. So we can have our component in one file and their app.js another file, and we can import it in. So really handy stuff. Then we've got define the component. We already did that, the function with a capital letter profile. And then add markup, right? So the component's returning an image with a source and alt. And basically here it's written on one line. You can write it on one line if you like. Or maybe you have more than one thing to return, so you can wrap it in a div and then just add your brackets here to the return. So it kind of has all that in there. So two ways of returning, use whichever one you prefer. Okay, using the component. So we want to use the component. We have our profile component here. And if we want to use it in the gallery, then basically we just use it like we would use a HTML tag, only with the capital letter, because we have a capital letter. And here it's like self-closing, right? Because there's nothing inside it. But we could just as easy do this if we want to, and it will work the same. Oh, sorry, I did that wrong. We need to close it. I'm already self-closing it. So there we go. We could close it ourselves, right? That will still work. But it's kind of like, as you can see, this is a lot nicer than this. But you might have to put things inside, and then that makes sense to do that. But again, up to you, design decision. This looks tidier. So if you don't have anything to return, generally self-close it. Okay, so what the browser sees that this is a HTML section, and then it says, oh, you are something to do with React. Let me just go back and change that so it looks nice. So there we go. So it'll come along here and say, oh, capital letter, React, come and do your stuff here. And then basically React will render it into what it actually is, which is an image tag with a source and alt. And there we go. So nesting and organizing our components, basically we have the gallery component. This is called the parent, right? It's the parent, and inside it there are the children components. So profile is the child of the gallery, the parent. Okay, cool. And you can read more about this here if you like. And recap, well, let's just go and try out some challenges. Let's see if we got it right. Now, this is when you would really want to basically pause the video. Don't cheat. Pause the video. Go do this yourself, and then come back and watch it later. Or don't watch it later if you don't want to. You can simply just click on show the solution and cheat. But then you won't learn anything, so you shouldn't do that. Okay, so let's have a look at our challenge. And we basically have this code sandbox doesn't work because the root component is not exported. So let's fix that. And we talked about that earlier when we do an export default. And it's like, we've got it working. Simple, cool, easy as that, right? That was the first one done. And we can click onto the next challenge. I'm going to click the tab here. We got to fix the return statement. So a return statement, something isn't right about the return statement. So let's have a look here. Remember we said that it can go on one line, so we can put it onto one line and then it will work. Nice. Or we could keep it on a different line from the return, but then we have to add the brackets. So I just take that bracket and put it at the end of here, and it's still not working. You're like, what's happening here? But basically, there's a semicolon in here. So we don't want to have a semicolon in there when we are in return brackets. And that's it. Both examples work. You choose whichever one you prefer. Nice. Okay, let's spot the mistake. Something's wrong with how the profile component is declared and used. Can you spot the mistake? So something is wrong with how the profile component, I mean, it's right there in front of our eyes, profile, and we've got profile, not the same. Remember, capital letter for React. So we want to come along here and we want to change it down here as well, right? Because this is basically not going to know what it is if they're not the same. And there we have our 3 profiles, our scientists done. Excellent. And challenge number 4, are you ready? Your own component. Oh my God. Write a component from scratch. I've got to remember everything. Don't worry, you can scroll up if you need to, but let's see if we can do it. You can give it any valid name and return any markup. If you're out of ideas, you can write a congratulations component that shows good job. Don't forget to export it. Okay, so don't forget to export it. Let's do that from the start. Export default, and we're writing a function, remember? We're going to call it congratulations because I can't think of anything else to do. That's cool. And how do we write functions? We put our parentheses and then we put our curly brackets, open and close them. Great, we have our component, but remember we need to return something. I'm going to put brackets because it just makes my life easier, but feel free to not use them if you don't want to. And we're going to put a H1. We're going to copy the example. We're going to say good job, exclamation mark, close the H1, and ta-da! Yay! We did a good job. And that's it. So really cool. This is how you can basically build your component, your first component. I suggest you go back over those challenges and do them yourself, read through that page of the docs, and the next video, we'll go through the next page. And yeah, that's it. I really hope you had a great time here, and see you for the next one.